Austria, once one of the most powerful states in Europe, had a population of 53 million people, making it the third largest country in Europe by population and the second largest by area, after Russia. It stretched from present-day Poland deep into the Balkans, and from South Tyrol in Italy far into modern Ukraine. In terms of political power, Austria was also indispensable. The Habsburgs were involved in all significant European affairs, and the imperial palaces of Vienna symbolized supreme power, with the emperor deciding the future fate of Europe. However, when we look at Austria today, little remains of that former glory. It now ranks 18th in Europe by population and 20th in terms of area. Geopolitically, the country plays a relatively minor role. How did it come to be that Austria lost all its power in such a short time? Why did it have to cede 90% of its territory, and how did it cope with this massive loss? We will explore all these intriguing questions in today's video. Enjoy! Austria's rise was closely linked to the Habsburg family. Originally, they were a small noble family from the region of today's Swiss canton of Aargau. However, through clever marriage policies and territorial expansion, they rose to become one of the most powerful dynasties in Europe. By the 16th century, they already controlled large parts of Europe, including Austria, parts of Hungary, parts of the Holy Roman Empire, and later even Spain and its vast overseas territories in America. A key element of their success was undoubtedly their marriage policy. They pursued a strategy known as marrying instead of warring, which allowed them to expand their territory through dynastic marriages, following the famous saying, "Bella gerant Ali to Felix Austria noob," let others wage war, but you, happy Austria, marry. Thus, marriages within the family were common, leading to the distinctive feature of the strongly pronounced Habsburg lower lip. From the 17th and 18th centuries, Austria itself rose to become one of Europe's leading powers. More and more territories came under the emperor's control, the military was reformed, and the administration was centralized. Under Maria Theresa and her son Joseph II, Austria gained significant cultural and political influence. It was no surprise then that one of the greatest peace conferences in history, the Congress of Vienna, took place in Austria. After the victory over Napoleon, Austria seemed to be at the peak of its power. The Holy Roman Empire of the German nation was history, and Austria had become the leading power in Central Europe. Under the leadership of the skilled diplomat Prince Metternich, Austria played a central role in the concert of Europe and the system of the Holy Alliance, which aimed to preserve the monarchist and conservative order in Europe. The emperor's power seemed limitless. However, only a few decades later, a gradual decline began, which eventually culminated in one of the most brutal conflicts in human history. Austria was by no means homogeneous. The entire state was centrally governed by the emperor, but it consisted of numerous different ethnic groups with distinct languages and cultures. It was seen as the epitome of a multi-ethnic state. However, these peoples became increasingly dissatisfied with what they perceived as the arrogant rule from Vienna, especially in the context of the national movements from the mid-19th century onward. Not only in Germany or Italy were more and more citizens calling for their own nation-states, but there was also unrest within Austria-Hungary. Hungarians, Serbs, Czechs, Croats, and other ethnic groups demanded more rights and autonomy from the emperor. He naturally had little interest in relinquishing power, but was forced to make at least some concessions. During the Italian Wars of Independence, Austria suffered crucial defeats against France and the rising Kingdom of Italy. Austria also faced losses on other fronts, with the most significant defeat occurring in the Austro-Prussian War of 1866. Austria's defeat led to its exclusion from the German Confederation, losing its dominant position in Central Europe to Prussia. This resulted in a massive loss of prestige and further fueled internal tensions. The growing national aspirations, especially in Hungary, ultimately led to the Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867, transforming the Austrian Empire into the dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary. This compromise was an attempt to placate one of the largest ethnic groups in the empire, but it decentralized power and further weakened the authority of the Viennese court. More problems emerged as Austria-Hungary lagged behind other European powers in terms of industrialization. This economic backwardness not only hindered the empire's competitiveness, but also weakened its military strength. In addition to ethnic conflicts, political conflicts between conservative and liberal forces became more frequent. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the heir to the throne, was seen as a reformer with numerous ideas to reshape the rigid monarchy. One of his ideas was to establish the United States of Greater Austria, modeled after the USA, to create a balance among the various ethnic groups. I've already made a video about this, which I'll link at the end. However, the throne remained firmly in the hands of his uncle, Emperor Franz Joseph. This very conservative emperor ruled for almost 70 years and ultimately led Austria-Hungary into ruin. Moreover, Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in Sarajevo in 1914, dashing any hopes for reform. On the contrary, from that point on, things only worsened, bringing us to Austria's ultimate downfall. After the assassination of his nephew, Franz Joseph declared war on Serbia, triggering a chain reaction that led to World War I. This war turned out to be the ultimate catastrophe for the Habsburg monarchy. While it relied on past successes and remained convinced of its own power, the war changed everything. Despite initial successes, the empire was unable to withstand the strains of modern total war. Its economic resources were inadequate, and its multinational armies suffered from issues of loyalty and communication. As a result, the various peoples of the empire saw this as their opportunity for independence, delivering the final blow to the monarchy. The fronts collapsed one by one, and more nationalities, including Czechs, Slovaks, Hungarians, South Slavs, and Poles, declared their independence. They were further encouraged by the Allies' promises of self-determination, as put forward by US President Woodrow Wilson. In a last-ditch effort, the Austrian Reichsrat passed the People's Manifesto in October 1918, proposing to transform the monarchy into a federation with significant autonomy for the various nationalities. But this move came too late. The monarchy was history, and the former Austrian Empire disintegrated. Numerous new states emerged, including Czechoslovakia, the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, later Yugoslavia, and the Republic of Poland. Hungary became an independent state, and Austria was reduced to its German-speaking core territories. The Treaty of Saint-Germain in 1919 officially sealed the end of the Habsburg monarchy. Austria lost additional territories, such as South Tyrol to Italy and the region of Bukovina and parts of Banat to Romania. What remained was the Republic of Austria, with significantly reduced territory, and difficult times lay ahead for the small country. The territorial reduction also meant a significant loss of resources, population, and economic power. The loss of international significance also played a major role. The new Austria had little influence on European politics, leading to an identity crisis among its population. Many see this as the reason why Hitler was able to annex Austria so easily. Many Austrians wished to once again be part of a respected great power, and thus cheered when Germany annexed their small neighbor. Only after another world war did Austria accept its new role and declared its permanent neutrality. This allowed Austria to regain a respected place in international politics. Numerous organizations, such as the United Nations, OPEC, and the OSCE, opened offices in Vienna, making it a temporary capital of diplomacy. Since joining the European Union in 1995, Austria has played an active role in the EU, promoting European integration and advocating for the strengthening of the community.